It is graduation season. We're seeing high school graduates, college graduates. It is that time of year where the three of us often get questions about, hey, you three have earned financial freedom, really via different routes. What should my kid do in this environment? Now we're adding the complexity of AI and the fear of AI changing the entire landscape. So we're going to have an honest, heartfelt, non-prepared, just brainstorm session about what we would tell, either our children, somebody in our family or friends, about what we would recommend. Dion, how are you?
Howdy, I'm doing great. I'm excited about this. I've had three kids, that are past 18 now that have that shift and the same threat, right? Every field forever has been factory work repair. Factory work is going to be replaced with robots. Truck drivers are going to be replaced with automated trucks, uh, AI. So it's a great topic. I'm looking forward to covering.
Awesome. And Matt, how are you?
I'm doing super. 4 kids, 6 and under, so I'm nowhere near where you guys are. I was at a kindergarten graduation an hour ago.
Nice, nice.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to get them to work this summer. You're going to put them on some funds.
They're already all working. I saw their report cards, and now we have an action plan for what we're going to be handling in the summertime. And so yeah, it'll be exciting.
There you go. Well, folks, this is an important topic. Whether you specifically have children graduating or someone in your family, I think there's a lot of people are afraid, right? You go to school, you make some choices, and then the landscape changes. All three of us kind of came of age in a very similar kind of topsy-turvy world where the internet was going to change everything. So we do have some experience, and of course, will be somewhat different. But you know what? When in doubt, when we're talking about graduation, we of course go to the ninth grade dropout first.
Why wouldn't we?
Yeah, why wouldn't we go to a ninth grade dropout to talk about what your high school senior or graduate or college graduate should be doing? Matt, you're up first. What are your first thoughts?
I mean, congratulations to everybody else. They all got further than me in school, so that's not
It's not hard.
A good thing.
Not
It really
hard.
wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Usually the authorities will make sure you're finished more than I did. But I think I think the big thing, so for me, I've got a 26-year career in tech, long career like you in tech. And for me, I spent the last 17 in AI and RPA, robotic process automation, which is the precursor to AI. And so what I would tell people is, like I've been telling them for about 10 years, 7 years after I got into AI and RPA, I was like, you need to get jobs in the trades. That's what needs to happen. You need to be doing something with your hands where you have to be there on location. We are a very far time away from a company being able to afford robots to do plumbing and robots to do electrical work. We are very far away from that. Most states have more plumbers retiring every year than they do have guys getting into being plumbers every year. So they're pulling from much smaller minor leagues, if you will. So yeah, if my kids, we respect every trade. And we always talk about how they're part of the team that help us, build our buildings and do our projects. And so, we were never of the surprising and shocking, I'm sure. We were never of the ilk of, you got to go to college, you're going to be nothing. That's what I heard all growing up. Right. You got to go to college, you're going to be nothing. And when it's all said and done, I'm worth more than my entire family who all went to college.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. I mean, you're absolutely right. One of the things that we've seen over the last decades is an orientation, go to school, get a good job,
Sure.
get a white collar job, right? Basically white collar good, blue collar bad. That was,
right.
Kind of the theme.
Yep.
I hope it changes, because like you, I don't have anybody in my Rolodex of people that help us in our business. I think I have one person that's under 40, like a new painter that I found. It's under 40, but everybody else is, gosh, north of 50. Like they're older than me.
Yep.
And that's mathematically, that's going to run out, pretty soon.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
pretty crazy. Dion, what about you? High school graduate, you served in the military, police force, trucking. You were a driver, then a leader. What are you recommending high school graduates, college graduates think about or start doing?
So there are people out there who have the eidetic memory, where they can remember everything that they've seen. I have an idiotic memory. And so I'm surprised sometimes when I do actually remember something. Sorry to say that when you were drinking, but There's a really smart content creator who presents at high schools occasionally, and at a high school presentation that he put on his YouTube channel about 2 years ago, this is something that really resonated with me, and it relates to my story. It relates to almost everybody's story that I know. Is at the age of 18, there's two things I wish people would tell their kids. I'm going to talk about the first one now, the second one when we circle back. The first one is, at 18, you are closer to financial freedom than you ever will be in your career.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you don't have the $1,000 a month car payment, the car seats. You don't have the big house. You don't have all of the things, the traps that come with life creep, where you make more, you need more. You buy the bigger house, you need to fill it with bigger things. At 18, people talk about backpacking Europe. Right? It's a couple $1,000 vacation. It's not the $10,000 cruise where you have to take your spouse and your 1 or 2 kids, and it's starting at 10 grand, but and that's inner cabin, no perks,
no windows.
I wish somebody would say that to more people at 18 instead of saying, "Happy graduation. This was the best 4 years of your life," which is the dumbest statement to ever say to anybody in high school, and they say it every single graduation.
Yeah.
And then they go, "Okay, now you have 40 years of work ahead of you." That's what's being pushed.
This is so much fun. I love how we bring the reality and kind of both looking back and looking forward. The thing that kind of hit me, because I was preparing to do this one solo, but I needed help because it just wasn't coming together. Now it is. I would be talking to the kid. Like, okay, great. You graduate, whether it's a college graduate or high school graduate. I would be asking, to your point, Dion, is like, what I would be asking him, kind of like, what excites you? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what tugs at you? Because you're absolutely right. You are never closer to financial freedom than that moment until potentially much later in life. Because again, like this high school senior talk, right? I ask them all the time, can you live on $2,000? All of them say yes. Trust me, it is a lot easier to earn financial freedom when it's $2,000 target than a 20 grand target. It's just math. And, the reason I want to talk to the kid is maybe some of the kids, again, not mine, but maybe they want to go be something like a doctor or a lawyer or, something that's just wired in them that they're going to go do, and they're going to need college. I'd be like, okay, great. And then I would tell them what they're signing up for. I think that's what people don't do, right? If you go to a high school senior and they want to be a lawyer, for example, paint the freaking picture, right? Okay, great. You're going to be going to school for 6 years. You're going to get out and you're going to be working 100-hour weeks. Your end goal is sometime by the age of 40 to hopefully be on the partner track. Oh, by the way, every lawyer that I have ever met hates their job. Freaking hates their job.
True.
So true, right? So is that really what you want to do? And if the answer is yes, they're an adult, let them make their decision. But I don't think we do a very good job of painting the future of what people are signing up for. Because in today's world, you can go online and find living examples, right? You can find 45-year-old lawyers who are miserable telling their story about don't get into law. I just think we need to bring reality more.
So if I can cut in really quick before Matt, running a CDL school for the last 13 years, I want to say hundreds, but I know I met dozens of dentists and lawyers who wanted to be truck drivers. I didn't meet one truck driver who was wanting to be a dentist or a lawyer.
Longer road.
Wow.
That's very cool. So one of the things that I look at is journey, success is a journey, not a destination. And so the best thing that I can do for my kids is set them up where they're always learning. They're always being challenged, because kids like to rise to the challenge. So I want to be challenging them, always having them see that there is something else that they can do, that they can learn. My son is speaking sentences in Mandarin. He just turned 6. So he's learning Mandarin. Why? Because I think that's going to be important. I think the world, largely speaking, in the next 20 years will either be speaking Mandarin and speaking English. I think largely speaking, that's going to be true. And so I want to constantly be challenging them and having them see, that they can go out and try something and see if they like it. And if you didn't like it, okay, let's put it down. Let's go try something else. And then it's eventually they're going to find their thing. So that's success being a journey, not a destination. Second thing is every parent now is encountered with a should storm, not a shit storm, a should storm. You should do this. You should do that. You should do this. You should do that. They have no idea. My entire family told me I would be nothing if I didn't go to college. Entire family. My grandparents disowned me. They said, yeah, we're not supporting this. This is a stupid idea. I was like, good news. I don't care. Don't care. I don't need your support. I don't need money. I don't need support. It doesn't matter anyway. So I think that a lot of parents should really, truly focus on their kids. One of my best friend's son is a 2-year welder. He played professionally now. He played with welding all through high school, played with welding through college. He went to 1 semester of college. He continued to play with welding. He's like, I just really enjoy welding. And he got really good at it. And guess what? He is now 20 years old, making $60 an hour as a welder. And he loves his life. He looks forward to work. He looks forward to overtime. He looks forward to unique and weird projects that they get to work on. He's 20 years old and he's an amazing welder. And I think that if we just let people find what they really enjoy, then they'll become really successful at it. And you know what? What I've appreciated now that I'm in my late 40s is showing up and seeing guys, no matter what it is, that they do that they're elite at. Watching guys that are elite at something is a lot of fun. It doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't. Putting up, framing out in steel studs, doing wiring, doing brickwork, doing this demolition work. I've watched pros in the last 3 months on this project, elite guys at what they do, and every single one of them has a process, a system, and then uses their skills to get a great result. So I think people need to be far more focused on getting kids exposed to a lot of different things and then seeing what they gravitate towards.
I like it. I like it. Dion, you said you had 2 things. You hit the first one. What's the second?
Yeah, so this is something I wish we started drilling in when kids were 10, 12, 14. Start telling them this because it's such a simple concept. But I don't know that I've met maybe 3 people ever that don't think this way. I wish people would tell kids at 18, if you get a job and you work for 2 years, just 2 years, almost any job, and you save, you can buy a house at 20. You'll have 2 years of work income on your tax returns. That's what lenders are going to want. From 18 to 35, I'm pretty sure everyone I know is convinced that buying a house is for somebody older, somebody who has a work history, who has a developed career. And that's not what lenders are looking for. They actually kind of don't want you to have a dialed in career, because if that industry starts to lay off, you have to do a career shift. Versus if you just have 2 years, just 2 years is all it takes to buy that house. Instead of you need to go to college for 4 years and go into $100,000 in debt. You work for 2 years, and at 20, you go $200,000 or $300,000 in debt with a 3% down payment on a conventional loan. I'm not even talking house hacking, getting into real estate. And then you have the next 2 years when everybody else spent their 4 years in college to graduate with a degree that's not going to get them a job that pays more, right? That's been debunked now. True. And you could work in the trades, you can work in family business or whatever it is, but now you have 2 years of principal pay down, 2 years of appreciation, 2 years of owning that house. And it only took 2 years to get there. I don't know anybody who's telling that to 18-year-olds. Most 18-year-olds are thinking, that's for when I'm so old, I can barely walk anymore, like when I'm 30.
No, you're right. I guess the last thing I would make sure I would tell any kid graduating college or high school is, I'm really starting to lean into what I'm calling the 4 seasons of life. The first season is great. Congratulations. You just left season 1. Season 1 is basically where your parents are responsible for you. Season 2 starts usually after graduation. Now, I would make sure they understand that, season 2, it could be 5 years, it could be 50 years. The choices that you make early in season 2 will tell you how long you're going to be in season 2. If you're doing what Dion and Matt talk about, you get in and you buy a home at 20 and all of this, you could be out of season 2 by 25, 26, or 27. Season 2, if you don't know, it's where you're selling your hours. It's where you're creating disposable income. It's where you're buying assets. and you are becoming wealthy. Just because we're talking about this, I want to paint the vision of season 3. Season 3 is where I want everybody to spend the most time. Season 3 is not about grinding. You can work, you can get paid, but you don't have to. It is completely optional. And there is something freeing when that is there for you. And again, I want people to realize that season 3 goes, instead of about money, which is all about season 2, specifically disposable income in season 2, it's about being happy. I want people to realize I want you to do whatever can make the most money in season 2. If that's door-to-door sales, if that's call center, if that's bricklaying, I don't care what it is. In season 2, do whatever you can to make the most money. Make it a short time, a short window, but you're freaking 20 years old. You don't injure well. You're made out of rubber. Nothing breaks. Go nuts. But stack paper. Become an elite investor. Buy something. Dude, if you can enter phase 3 at 30 and you could have 50, 60, shoot, today, 70 years of phase 3, season 3, that's where I would spend most of my time talking about how long are you going to stay in season 2. Because again, if you want to work 40 hours for 40 years to live on 40%, God bless, your call. I would suggest that most people don't want to do that.
I concur.
Yeah. Dion, any thoughts in this season thing? Because you're a great teacher, so I don't really know what I'm doing with this.
So it kind of goes to that. Nobody's telling 18-year-olds that you can buy a house in as little as 2 years of work history, right? And qualify to do that. Nobody's telling most people that retirement isn't about an age. Right? I was listening to the Bigger Pockets Money Show recently, which is, I'm a Mindy Jensen fan, so I watched almost every episode of that comes out. And they had a young lady on there who had like an epiphany because remember, it's hard to remember what it's like to not know something.
Yep.
And to go back to when we didn't know. And the guest was talking about how it just seemed like retirement was for 65. Right? There's a group of people out there. So the guest thought, okay, I found this unique concept that maybe if I do these things, I can retire before 65. And what she did was she looked at the Dave Ramsey calculator of how much you need to invest. And so she changed the age from 65 to 50. And it didn't change any metric except you need to now invest this much every month. And so then she realized, and then she found the FIRE community and realized there's a whole group of people talking about this. And so if you're talking about third phase, it's not. First phase is 18 to 35. Second phase is blah, blah. It's not tied to age at all. It's tied to when you get your finances right for that phase.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's just touch on this one thing. Again, all the questions I've gotten here in the last 30 days or so have all made reference to AI, either vaguely or explicitly. Let's just talk about the AI thing, the big elephant in the room. Is it to be feared? Is it to be embraced? Would anything change, in your opinion? Matt, we'll go to you first. Is AI going to flip over everything or what?
Yep. It is. The models will get better and better and better. But frankly, it's going to take out, if you're an actuarial, I can press a button and replace you in about 5 years, because it's all going to be based on models. If you look at what they do, they look at all of the data, then they create a model where they believe that they can make money from that model, and they're looking for predictability. Well, if in seconds, if you're able to access all of the data around storms in a state for the history of time, I'm going to be able to build a better building than you. I'm going to be able to build a better model than you. So I think it's very, very important to take it seriously. I would make sure that whatever career you're selecting, that you have a side gig, that you have something else that you're good at that requires use of these things. You have to be able to do that. You have to be able to know how to use those, even if it's just, everybody's gotten in such a habit because of Quick Lube. I can just drive through and I can just get it done. Most people have no clue how to change their oil. Most people have no clue how to add fluids to their cars. Most people have no clue how to diagnose the simplest of things. You are going to have to everybody got fat, dumb, and lazy, relying on why do you think service workers are out straight for every industry? It's because no one can fix or do anything on their own anymore. So yeah, use your hands, start trying to figure things out. And even better, something that none of us had, YouTube. It's all over YouTube. People show you how to do all of this stuff, but you need to know how to do it. That's important. That's very important. My son's been under my truck with me giving it an oil change. Yep. Can I afford an oil change? Yes. Do I know how to do one? Yep. So I think people just need to recognize that it's important to recognize that also that people need to be not wary of it, aware, but they also we are not far away from fast food restaurants having 8 kiosks and 2 people. We are not far away from that.
I agree.
Especially with people pushing this idiocy of $20 an hour for a fast food person. I get bad news for you. That's $40. That's $40,000 a year. And those kiosks don't cost that much. And they sure as hell don't cost that much to operate 7 of them. I can take that one person in that one job and I can pay him 75. And I am so far ahead of the game because I don't have to worry about how you went on a bender. I don't have to worry about how you did something stupid last night. I don't have to worry about you not showing up. I don't have to worry about you being rude to a customer. I don't have to worry about any of those things. So if you think being on the bottom of the ladder, they think the middle class got crunched, it's coming a whole lot worse for service workers. Maids, yeah, those people aren't going to be replaced by robots anytime soon. But the people flipping a burger or dropping a thing into a fry vat, look it up. There's automation happening in all these places, and it's maybe $1 million or $2 million to implement. They're the ones that are going to be at the outside looking in. So hopefully it was worth it fighting for $20 an hour to flip a burger.
There you go. There you go. Dion, what are your thoughts? AI specific? Should they fear it? Should they embrace it? What should they do?
So when it comes to your source of income, I don't know that you should fear it. I think you should plan for it. It's kind of like when people talk about politics and whichever way an election is going to go. And to me, it honestly doesn't matter who's in office. I have a plan for this side. I have a plan for this side. This is what I will do no matter who goes in there. And you can benefit from either side. When it comes to AI, we had to teach our kids how to find information. Now we need to teach our kids how to ask the right question to find the information. And there is some serious, I want to say threats, but it means your position is going to change. And let's just take YouTube as an example for content creators making a channel. If you go right now, you can find channels doing exactly what we're doing, talking about housing, talking about recessions and everything. It's AI scripted, AI voiced, AI background, AI everything. There's not even a person involved. Somebody just made a channel, told AI what it wanted and uploaded the video. And it's really hard to catch it because it's so good now, the AI voice. The only way you can catch it is sometimes if the video has something like the most recent one, I couldn't tell this was not a human until it said $160,000. Because AI had voiced it as $160. Like just like that. But everything else had the tone and of a voice. So yes, I think unless you have content where it's obvious that it's a person that people can relate to, I think your channel is going to do great. But we're going to be competing against more and more AI. Yes. If you're in a field like truck driving or welding, if you get a welding certificate, your welding license, and you go and you get a job in a factory making cars, robots are going to replace you. Most factories now have complete welding done like that. But if you become a welder who can be mobile, who can go to job sites and fix things, you're not going to be replaced. And this is very specific knowledge to the industry I worked in. If you have a CDL and you work for Swift, Sierra England, Central, Prime, you're going to be replaced by AI. You're going to have 6 trained semis going from city to city because AI can handle that. What AI can't do is Oak Harbor, Old Dominion, Redaway, Peninsula, R&L, all the local LTL companies. You can't back into an alley. You can't traverse inner city human traffic, not human trafficking, but traffic of humans on the street. So if you get into a blue collar, target the aspect of that industry that is least likely to be replaced by AI.
And then the last thing, I think that's all right. I'll take the other side. If your kid is excited by AI and they geek out on it, I would tell them to lean in.
Oh yeah.
Like double down, like become that elite person. Because if you want a very safe job, be the AI expert for whatever your company is. Because again, it's not only about what's now called prompt engineer. It's about identifying hallucinations. It's about footnoting. It's about all of these other things. It's about putting together multiple AI platforms or whatever you call it, models. There's a lot of great things coming. And then the last thing I'll say, because again, we lived through the .com era where it was going to replace this and replace that. I'm going to go back to this, the same kind of horse and buggy automobile nonsense. Some industries or careers will simply disappear, but there will be new ones born.
Mhm.
I personally believe that AI will be a net positive for career growth, but you've got to find it. You got to look for it. You got to be purposeful. Don't just jump in the current and let the current take you where you want to go, because you could end up on the rocks, and you don't want to be there. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. Dion, where can people find you?
They can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, where I go down the rabbit hole of these 3 words when it comes to AI. Exponential growth bias. That's the real threat.
I like it. Matt, where can they find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram. Lots of things there that AI can't do.
There you go. Thanks, guys.